Hi, everyone. I'm Juliet. I'm the closer, so this is the last one. Um, I'm not going to talk about myself too much because you could read the slides. I'm really here to represent the BU Center for the Humanities. I do want to begin, though, with something that I've done a lot of research on, which is Alan Turing. I'm an historian of logic. So the Turing test we ordinarily think is a matter of whether the machine can fool you into thinking it's a human. So you have a questioner and a screen, and you have a human and a machine in the classical version of this, and you're going to be figuring out whether you can be deceived. This is not what Turing had in mind at all, because after the Turing test is made, the screen comes down. And then the person who was asking the questions walks around and meets the person who was questioned. And if the person has been classified as a machine too many times, when you ask it to have a cup of coffee, it's not going to want to have a cup of coffee with you. So the point is human-human interaction in the presence of machines. And for Turing, this was part of, I'm sorry, thought we were on my side. This is part of what he called the cultural search. So he said, in postulating the future of AI, there would be three things. One, the search for algorithms. Two, computational biology, search for making rigorous sense of what he knew Watson and Crick had discovered. But third was the cultural search, and he said that has to be undertaken by the human community as a whole, across the whole globe. And I think he was right about this, and so a lot of my thoughts about the humanities are based on this. So let's forget what I do. So I want to talk about grants and collaborative research. The Emerging Media Division, thank you so much. But I'm going to move on to the BU Center for the Humanities. So the BU Center for the Humanities, its main aim is the support of research at BU. And in the Humanities Faculty Task Force report of 3 years ago, the idea was made that the humanities should be a bridge between colleges, different disciplines, different eras, and so on and so forth. So this is what we've been trying to do. And Margarita Guillory was on the committee that helped draft a charter for the BUCH. We've existed, by the way, since 1984. It was originally for the study of the ethics across the professions, and now it has been adapted. So we have three initiatives. One is called the Leadership Initiative. That's to use the humanities in a public way to get people who have been trained in the humanities out into leadership positions in the public area and in collaborative research teams inside and outside the university. So we're pushing public humanities very hard, and we have a consortium with all the other humanities centers in the area and, in fact, internationally. Secondly is the Digital Initiative, which Margarita can talk to you about. She's been the main organizer of that. And third, the Global Initiative. Transnational funding in the humanities is on the rise. And as we lose our soft power in the United States, it's going to be even more important to have interactions with other countries that are studying the importance of popular culture and other such things. So what we've done since I became director at the center is we've had cross-school fora. We just had one last week, sponsored by CDS, Wesley Waldman, Margarita was there, and the Division of Emerging Media. That was on the line between entertainment and education and the role of algorithms in delivering education. I could put it this way to be very simple. In the modern theory of the firm, we have information taken care of. Each node of a role is a sort of anonymous individual. And the question was, how can you frictionlessly deliver information as quickly as possible? We solved that. But the outstanding frontier is, how do you deliver content to people that they care about, that engage them, and so on and so forth? So finally, just to close, because it is the end, I have a current grant out, which is a kind of massive cooperation with Princeton and with the CNRS in France and the University of Paris. We're going to try to build humanistic knowledge graphs for structured content that we already have, including videos from the Favorite Poem Project, which Robert Pinsky, our poet laureate, devised, as well as television series. Television series, in particular security TV series, are studied in Europe. This is a genre that is made globally across the world. And what it's doing is helping people cope with the threat of violence in democratic spaces. So we hope to build knowledge graphs and work with emerging media to figure out how to do that. And we're going to be doing it with heterogeneous materials, moving into Africa and around Asia, looking at moral spaces where grasping, to use the good phrase that my colleague McKinley used, where we can study grasping, what it really means to have something matter to you. And that's more important than information, I think, is emotion right there. So I'll stop there.